New restaurant. You want to try a new place, Abby? Huh? I'm excited. This is really kind of a terrible example for what we're trying to do because everything looks the same. But that's okay. I got a picture on the menu from a menu item that I think she would like. So Priscilla was like, hey, we should show them, like, you know, when we go to a new place or whatever, how we kind of navigate that. And a lot of that, you know, has to do with us just not like picking whatever food we want her to have or we think she would like, or which it still kind of entails that, especially when you have a menu like this place. So this is like a Chipotle, but Mediterranean food. So on her app, I just went into the food section and you just edit. The editing is password protected so that she can't change anything because she might accidentally delete an icon or something. You can add your own photos, which is pretty cool. Or you can use stock photos.
Burrito bowl.
There we go.
Can you show us? Is that what you want?
Burrito bowl.
Do you want that? Yeah.
It's not called that, but we just found out. Hey, wait here. Take your iPad.
Come here.
You gotta pick your meat. Do you want chicken? Yeah, on the chicken. Yeah. Look, they have honey chicken. That looks fun. Do you want to pick one? Come pick one. So they have salted chocolate, they have chocolate chip, and then they have chocolate fudge. Which one do you want? Pick one. Pick one. Yeah, the big one. That's what I figured. So we still have some struggles in newer places, right? But nothing like before. There's no like real sensory overload. And what I mean by overload is like where she can't function, she can't eat, she can't do any of those things. Like now it's like, it's manageable, huh? You can actually do things and enjoy life.
Yeah. I love it for you.
Yeah. Ceilings are always gonna get you. Like, but you're doing good. Hey, how's your food? Is it good? It's exactly as they described it. It's Mediterranean Chipotle. Just don't look up. I'll put that in the trash. Watch this. Let me show you a trick. Hold the tray with two hands, like this. Hold the tray, and then dump it. Whoops. Whoops. We'll clean that up. Make this grabs. You know, I'll just. There we go. Now I'll get napkins. And the really cool thing is, after just a little bit, she gets super comfy in place, and she's just smiling and hanging out, and you know. So it used to be like the ceilings would bother her, and then they become super overwhelming, and then that would build and grow, and it would just get worse and worse, and then we'd have to leave. Now it's like, you're not sitting in the front. Now it's like the ceilings, she's like, these are crazy ceilings, and then she gets comfortable with them. Like, she gets used to them instead of them getting worse.
She is taking a pill to help with anxiety, just so everyone is clear, though.
Right. I guess I didn't mention that at all, huh?
I wanted to make sure.
Yep.
So when we know we're coming out to places like this, it's like an as-needed type thing.
Yeah. So she has a dose of hydroxyzine. So it's pretty mild medication as far as anxiety goes. Doesn't, you know, make her loopy or anything like that.
But we have noticed that it makes a drastic difference. Like, makes it where she can do this.
Yeah, so her psychiatrist was like, well, we could do like, you know, because she takes hydroxyzine normally anyway at nighttime, but she has a bottle that's just for as needed, like when we go do stuff like this. Yeah, perfect. I like it. Got your rain poncho, because Lord knows it's going to rain at camp. Look at that.
Do you like this color?
Thank you.
Okay, they're super soft.
Feel those. Feel it. No. Are you not going to participate at all?
You
Nope.
keep telling us shopping.
Shopping. Then you get here and no.
This is why I just come by myself most of the time, you know?
Yeah. So shower shoes are going to be a challenge, I feel like. Right? What are we going to do?
I don't know.
Do you think she'll wear one of these?
I don't think
These
she
like
will.
sandals?
You're pushing on my head, but
What do you think? Other foot in there? Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Wait just a sec. All right, put them back in. Go ahead, this foot.
Okay. Now put
And
your
then the other one. Okay. Now, can you walk? No, try to walk. You gotta try to walk.
This foot and this shoe.
There you go. All right, now walk.
Walk.
I think if they're not tied together, she might be more willing to try it. I think we should try it, you know, so she has shower shoes.
Okay. Take those and put
Well,
them in the cart.
we got a couple days we can work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put those in the cart.
perfect.
Which one?
Pick.
Which one?
Which one do you want?
Show us which one.
Go pick one. The flowers? Okay, that's a good choice.
Love that.
There you go.
Put
Put
that
it in the cart.
I already have one set of sheets, but
Put it
they
up
say to
there.
bring two just in case.
Right, yeah. Abby, I might get you on an episode of Cart Narcs.
Go ahead.
Like grown folk with no excuse can't put the cart away, but Abby can. Isn't that something? Nice job. I'm gonna push it all the way to the back though. You never seen Cart Narcs?
No.
Are you serious?
Is it a man that has magnets?
Yes, it is the man with the magnets.
Yeah.
He goes, skid a bit. That's not where that goes.
He got in a full-on fight with somebody the other day on TikTok. I saw. They went back and forth.
Oh yeah, sometimes people come after him. So the video for guardianship went up today, and there's so many questions. And one thing I didn't take into consideration is that some people don't have to deal with this at all, you know? So they would have no clue that this was even a thing. You know, lots of people are like, well, why do you have to have guardian? She's your kid. And logically, yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but, you know, you got to think about in reality, like, this is just Abigail's case. Like, it's a case-by-case situation. You might have partial guardianship over someone. Like, they're fully capable of handling their own finances, but they cannot do something else, you know, or vice versa. Like, they can't make complex medical decisions, so you need to step in there. Or they can, but they, you know, couldn't do this other area or whatever in their life. So it is a case-by-case basis. It's not going to be all-inclusive for everyone. This is how it works. But the reason why we need guardianship is because the moment she turns 18, you know, like I talked about previously with the doctor's appointment, we can't do anything legally. A doctor can't even talk to us without guardianship because of HIPAA, because of Abigail's rights. You know, we would not be able to act on her behalf. We wouldn't even be able to, like, schedule a therapy appointment. It just doesn't work that way. Plus, you know, everything else in her life, sign paperwork for her, sign her up for any programs or anything like that. Even send her to this vocational program that we want to, like, none of that stuff. We couldn't do any of it without guardianship. You know, you got to think about, like, all the things that you're allowed to do as an adult once you hit 18, or you're required to do, or, you know, like your mom, if you're over the age of 18 and your parents can't step in and do these things for you, like they couldn't go to the DMV and act on your behalf or anything like that. So this allows us to do those things. And in her everyday life, throughout her life. So that's kind of the concept behind that. So I saw a lot of questions related to that. A lot of questions also about Isaiah. So he's included in that. He's also in our will. Now, I'm speculating, but I'm almost positive that if something were to happen to Priscilla and I, Isaiah would still have to stand in front of a judge and plead his case for guardianship. It doesn't automatically default, like we don't, you know, now we do, it does, obviously it's going to help that we, like, you know, that we have it in our will that Isaiah takes over everything, you know, if something were to happen to us. that obviously helps. Everything else, and it'd be the same thing it was with us, where the attorney's looking at it, the judge looks at it, and they're like, yeah, of course, naturally, right? Like the parents take guardianship. It'd be the same thing with Isaiah. But it still has to be determined by a court. We could die 10 years from now, and Isaiah be a whole different person in 10 years. So all those things change. I'm trying to remember the other questions that popped up a lot. Yeah.
Because she doesn't have the competency.
Right. Yeah, that was one thing that someone said in the comments, that in their state, like, you can choose what rights are kept, basically. And that same way here. But like I said, it's case by case. So in Abigail's case, she would not be able to make an informed decision on who to vote for example, in an election. So that would be like coerced, we went into the booth with her and like, okay, check this box, so that, those kind of situations, in her case, it's full guardianship. Like I said, it's going to be case by case as far as what level of guardianship, to what extent. One thing I didn't mention was that if we were to move out of the state, we need to basically go back in front of the judge and ask permission, because we have guardianship in the state of Florida. We wouldn't have, that doesn't necessarily, you can't just pack up, which is crazy to me. I mean, we could move, but we couldn't take Abby. So, we would have to go back in front of the judge for that. That's something that we forgot to mention in the video. So there's some stipulations and stuff. It's a big responsibility. You have to care, regardless if it's our child and like, oh, it's your kid, you should get to blah, blah, blah. I totally understand that, and that seems logical. But also, you are taking over another human's rights. You are responsible for their entire life. Would we always make what we felt to be the right decision on Abigail's behalf? Of course we would. But the court has to make sure that we're going to, because not everybody would. And I'm not just talking about parents. The guardianship doesn't just apply to, Asa and Priscilla and Abby. Like, it applies to so many situations with caregivers and, extended family members and whatever. Lots of people can become guardians, not just parents. Right.
And so making those kinds of decisions.
Yeah, if you couldn't hear Priscilla, her dad took guardianship over his parents because, they got to the point where they couldn't make those decisions on their own. My dad took conservatorship over his parents. Conservatorship is the money side of things. Guardianship is the person.
Okay, well, I don't know what side he took, but...
Of your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he did make money decisions. I'm not sure about medical. But
right.
I mean, at some point,
a lot of times, with elderly people, you have to make medical decisions as well. So, yeah.
So it's the same process.
Yep, so it's not just parents and a kid, with a disability all the time. Hopefully that clears some things up for you guys. I know, a lot of people had a lot of questions. It was just mind-blowing to them that all of a sudden, like, we had to ask permission to make decisions for Abby. And I get that. Like, it just seems crazy. But it's only crazy, like, in this situation. The reason the whole system was created was to protect people like Abby. It was meant to protect people's rights and their freedom and their freedom of choice and, free will and all that stuff. So it's a good system to have in place. It just feels a little awkward in these specific situations, but it's a necessity.